is up, guys, and welcome back to another Transformers video here today. And today we are back talking about Transformers 1, more specifically the Quintessons. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Just going to preface this video by saying I am getting over a little bit of a cold, so if I sound a bit different, that is the reason. But getting right into the video, talking the Quintessons and their origin and their role in this new continuity with Transformers 1. Most specifically, the question I want to ask, though, and I have to give credit to multiple people commenting on my videos over the last few weeks, most specifically the Prime video. I had a few people asking the question, if Quintus Prime is in this movie and Quintus Prime is one of the 13 primes, how does that tie in with the fact that in some continuities, he is the creator of the Quintessons? To answer that question here today, we have to explore a couple of different avenues from the movie and a couple different solutions, and I've come up with two primary ideas that I think could help explain this situation. Starting off with the most boring explanation and the most simple is simply that they share a different origin and a different creator, and Quintus was not the creator of the Quintessons. Now, we know Quintus was created by Primus. Now, the question is, who created the Quintessons? And the first answer would just be someone else, maybe like a Quintessa type character or something like that. I hope they don't go in that direction, but you never know. The creators, these alternate, you could have an alternate species, a different type of, not Cybertronians, but another type of alien life, which is the creators of the Quintessons. You could bring in the G1 Quintessons, where you had the main three Quintessons with the multi-faced jesters. Those guys, you could do something like that. But let's get into the more interesting solution, which I think is the more likely, which is that Quintus did indeed create the Quintessons, but they turned on him. And this could open up the door to a much more interesting and violent, brutal story, and kind of a dark story with the Primes. They could make a whole new movie about what happened with the Primes, Quintus creating the Quintessons to maybe be the first iteration of what the miners were. So you could kind of say this would of course be introducing the idea that not all of the primes were these upstanding, amazing beings of light, good guys. And of course we know Megatronus is often evil in a lot of continuities because he becomes the Fallen. But in the Transformers 1 continuity, all of the primes we were introduced to were all kind of portrayed in the same standing, as though they were all good bots. None of them had any, none of them were evil, none of them were self-interested. They were just the 13 great rulers, great warriors of Cybertron, doing their thing, keeping everybody safe, keeping everything going forward. But if they introduced this idea that maybe Quintus created the Quintessons to be workers for Cybertron, or created the Quintessons to be some other kind of drone, or be an army or something like that, and what if the Quintessons turned on the Primes, creating this whole conflict in the first place? Because we know going into this movie, there has been a long-standing conflict between the Quintessons and the Cybertronians, but we don't know how that started and how that came to be. The idea that I'm posing is that Quintus created the Quintessons sometime a long time ago, and they rebelled against the Primes, rebelled against the Cybertronians, and maybe this is some kind of a tragic story where the Quintessons aren't bad guys. They were created on this planet. Cybertron is just as much their planet as the Cybertronians. They didn't ask to be created. And they were maybe slaves, they were tortured, and they rose up against their creators. And then you could say, maybe they have every right to be doing what they're doing. They're not evil. But that's taking it in a whole other direction. I don't think they would make it that complicated. I think it would just be something like Quintus created them, not intending for them to be as sentient as they were. So of course he wasn't trying to create slaves. He was trying to create kind of like AIs or some kind of non-sentient robots to kind of help Cybertron, and it went wrong. And the Quintessons are obviously, they have more bioengineering in them. They have more to them than just the pure Cybertronian design. But this is really a wide open door for many possibilities that they could dive down. So really, that's all I have here today, kind of just to stir up the discussion and hopefully get some gears turning. And hopefully we'll be getting more information as time goes on. They're releasing more concept art, more images of early renders and designs and stuff like that for the different characters, the primes, the main characters. So more information will continue to roll out. in the coming days, in the coming weeks, and you can bet I will be covering all of it right here on this channel. So what do you guys think about what I talked about here today? What do you think about the origin of Quintus and the Quintessons? Is there a connection? Is there no connection? What do you think they're going and doing with it in this new continuity? Let me know in the comments down below. Likes, dislikes, anything is appreciated. And until next time, peace.